JeGaysus, who is Thecla? Well, she was actually one of the most famous women in all of early Christianity. And a lot of people haven't heard of her now because patriarchy. Interesting. Okay, tell me more. Okay, so it starts when she was around for some of Paul's teachings in what's now modern-day Turkey. Watched Paul preach from her window, just listening to everything he had to say for 3 days on end without food or water or breaks. She was so entranced with Paul's teachings that she decided this is what she was going to devote her life to, and, well, she left her family. She left her family. For Paul? Gross. I know. Why did Thecla leave her family? Well, during Paul's days-long teaching spree, he stressed the importance of being celibate and marriageless because Paul. Right, okay, because Jesus is coming back any day now, so who needs kids? So Thecla's current fiancé was like, not today, future fam. And her mother was like, I do not like this. Is that a reference of some kind? Maybe. So, her mom decides to actually sell her out to the government, who did not like what she was doing either, and they decided to burn her at the stake. 'Cause patriarchy, but it doesn't end there. Wait, JeGaysus, pause. Okay. The Roman government was upset that Thecla didn't want children, so they were going to burn her alive. Meaning she still would never be able to have children. Yeah, I didn't say first century Rome made a lot of sense. Just is what it is. But here's the thing. It didn't work. They lit her on fire and nothing. Because as we all know, God saves their miracles for virgins. Naturally. So, Thecla sets off again to find Paul. Alright, JeGaysus, so Thecla is following Paul around like a groupie. Then what happens? Well, she goes to Antioch where there's this Roman official, Alexander, who takes a liking to her. But because she was celibate, she was kind of like, sorry, Alex, Jesus is the only man for me. Wait, she said that? I don't know. Probably. So then Alexander, being a misogynist, was like, well, we have to kill her. So then he sets her up to fight lions and bears in an arena, you know, like Romans do. But the animals didn't kill her. Nay, no. They ended up killing each other. Right, because in Paul's world, God saves virgins. That's right. You're getting it. Okay, JeGaysus, so Thecla just survived another unaliving attempt. And then what happens next? Wait, actually, we need to back it up because this is where it gets interesting. Prior to being thrown to the beast, she went to her bestie, Paul, and was like, I need to be baptized if I'm gonna die. He was like, I don't think you really want it. And she was like, excuse me? I cut my hair for you. And also, Alexander tried to grape me while he stood there doing nothing. Douche. Right? And then Paul was like, well, anyway, good luck. So with a crowd full of spectators lined up to watch her death, she was like, well, if I'm gonna die, might as well do this myself. And she flung herself into water, essentially baptizing herself. That's a queen. Yep, and then after that baptism, the animals didn't eat her. And, because she was a virgin. And because she was a virgin, yeah. Okay, JeGaysus, so Thecla baptizes herself, avoids becoming Lion Fancy Feast, and then she goes on a tour. I'm sorry, she does what? She starts preaching in what's now Iran and pretty much all over the Mediterranean. You know, she dresses as a man with that short little bowl cut that Paul made her get. And maybe tour is not the right word. Non-binary pause. She was dressed as a man. Yeah, you can't really expect women to travel around freely in these times, remember? Because misogyny. Jesus Christ, this is a long story. So, Thecla's story be crazy, but like, why haven't I ever heard it before? Well, it was actually written down as the Acts of Thecla, or sometimes called the Acts of Paul and Thecla. In fact, it was actually one of the most popular works. There were thousands of manuscripts that they found, and it's been translated in like 5 or 6 languages at that time, and there was even churches built to venerate her. She was a pretty big role model for women. Still confused. If it was so loved and everyone was reading it, then why wasn't it canonized like the other Acts? Tertullian. And a big misunderstanding about Paul's writings. Alright, JeGaysus, I'm a little afraid to ask this, but what was Tertullian's problem with the Acts of Thecla? Well, Tertullian wrote dissents on the topic, saying that these stories couldn't possibly represent the real Paul. Because as he put it, Paul was very explicit that women shouldn't be speaking in church, let alone traveling and preaching, citing, of course, 2 Timothy. And Further, Tertullian and other leaders pointed out that Paul actually loved and supported marriage. Again, citing 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, and Titus. Wait, is that... No, you can't. You mean the three letters that scholars undisputably say were not written by Paul. Their whole argument of this can't be Paul because he wouldn't hang out with a woman preacher. Wrong. Paul loves marriage and he would definitely not be celibate. No, super wrong. So they kept the Acts of Thecla out of canon because of mistaken text. And patriarchy. I mean, a woman dressed as a man preaching the gospel and then saying she never wants to get married so then a man can't control her. Yeah, that kind of did not go over well. That would kind of ruin the whole plan that they had for this patriarchy thing and how they're going to use the religion in the future. Saint Thecla. She's kind of a vibe. Get out there and baptize yourselves. Agreed. Get out there. Be a Thecla.